Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Golden Opportunities Coaching and Pro Wrestling Logic YouTube channels. This is the Pro Wrestling Logic YouTube channel, as I'm sure you're aware. 1,700 of these available, old school, new school, and classic wrestling covered here. We're trying to get the largest audio file available, probably, who knows, 20,000 or more eventually when this is done, several years away, obviously, and would love to have you join us on the journey. But this is the November 17th, 1979 edition All Star Wrestling. Classic time because so many stars of the 80s and into the early 90s for some people still here and developing here. 79, 78, 79, kind of a unique transitional period in a lot of ways because, guys have I won't say super long careers, but longer term careers than average. And as we move towards the idea of, kind of coming to grips with the idea of a much changing world, we've got the Larry Zbyszko pinning Johnny Ross 619. Zbyszko, obviously the major force for Bruno Sammartino, his protege, and continuing to be a major force in the wrestling world because of his involvement with Sammartino. Sammartino continues to endorse him and does show some favoritism, but not really. Rod's a pretty consistent opponent for virtually anyone in the area. He hooks up on basic headlocks and front face locks. Stays with him for several minutes. Larry comes back with some strikes also. Hip tosses and hip locks, basic stuff, and they are very back and forth. If you want to actually know how to wrestle and work the mat with basic punch kick offense, but not have it be terribly boring and have every blow matter, this is a match worth going out of your way to see. Cut off with a kick to the head with the drop on the backdrop attempted that doesn't go Zbyszko's way is there. Zbyszko does roll his man up and get a victory. Here, the big Bobby Duncum basically says he's going to take over the WWF returning. Wants to take out Backlund, wants to stop people. The Bulldog, a pretty major move at the time, and we begin to see it as a move that proves more consistent. Duncum managed by Lou Albano. Albano kind of rinsing out his old managerial guys and trading in for Duncum and the Samoans here. The tag team champions up here next. Again, the tag team champions pretty, I don't know that I'd necessarily say consistent, but at the same time, kind of. Santana and Putski defeating Jose Estrada and Pete Doherty 801 when Putski pins Estrada with the Polish Hammer after the bout. Sammartino interviews the champions at ringside. Basically, the champions saying they're open to all comers, and Santana once again puts over his friendship with Putski as being a major career changer. Doherty, who ends up being a major force in the New England and I guess to a lesser degree tri-state area over the next decade plus, pretty big here. Putski obviously has the power. Santana used as more of the technician, arm bars, arm locks, works the arm for several minutes, and Santana tries to get as much of an advantage as he can. Basic wrestling, nothing that you're gonna deal with a lot, but steps over into the armbar, tries to get the victory. Does Putski? Putski always in for the power. They cut the ring off on Putski a little bit. He's much more of a punch kick style, whereas Santana is pick a body part and work it over, work with it a bit. But the Polish Hammer leads to a victory for Putski and Santana, which is a good thing as we begin to move forward. The next in the series of matches here is the tag team of the Wild Samoans with Captain Lou Albano defeating Dominic DeNucci and Johnny Rivera 403. When Sika pins Rivera with a Samoan drop, the Samoans are introduced as Lou Albano's Wild Men after the match. Albano endorses the High Chief Peter Maivia and endorses the wonder of everything that is coming for this team. He's kind of implying that this is going to be his next tag team champion. I think he actually does say that outright. I don't know whether it was this particular edition or the next one, but the idea that they are going to be the future of the tag team division, pretty big deal here. DeNucci being on a team that takes such a dramatic loss in under 4 minutes, being a former tag team champion, I think does endorse the Samoans and the Samoan drop, which becomes a fundamental move for many guys from Umaga now to Roman Reigns to all points in between. A pretty big deal here, and we begin to see it here 79-80 going forward. The Samoans being able to hang on to DiNucci and then take the victory over his partner. Pretty impressive, especially in a 4-minute run. We go to next to Ken Patera, who's back to being blondish with the Grand Wizard of Wrestling here. And, he defeats Frank Williams. Williams, of course, most known for the Piper's Pit segment where Roddy Piper beats him down several years later. But here, Williams continues to be an enhancement talent of medium value, I guess we'd say. Kind of going forward there. Patera, it's hard to get how I don't even know that I would say good, how impactful he is in this time period. If you're not familiar, obviously second Intercontinental Champion, pretty big deal there. But punch kick, and eventually, after a few body slams, the full Nelson gets the victory for Patera, and the Grand Wizard is happy with that. We will be back with more right after this.